The Constitution of the United States, like the constitutions of the several states, allocates different types of power to different branches of government: the executive, the legislative, the judicial. Those branches of government are bound under the Constitution to respect the limits of their own power. The fundamental problem is usurpation. We sometimes speak in terms of judicial activism, but it would probably be better to name the problem judicial usurpation. One branch of government, the judiciary, is seizing for itself authority allocated by the Constitution to another branch of government, the legislative or the executive. And it's that usurpation which is the violation of the Constitution, which courts have so often been guilty of perpetrating.
One of the most incredible decisions to me was to say that Dred Scott was not a human being, but 3/5 human. And then it was paralleled again in 1973 when the court misinterpreted the definition of personhood by saying that a little tiny baby in the womb was not a person, and that that little person had no feelings if he or she was going to be ripped apart and hurt in the process of something that became abortion. So to me, to take away the personhood of a human being by judges who redefine humanity is an egregious act.
Too often members of the public take judicial usurpation lying down because they assume that the judges know best, that the judges know the law.
The conservatives have not connected the dots in popularizing the issue of judges for our base. We have all of these issues that we spend an enormous amount of time on, but very often the issue of judges is viewed as last, when in fact it's part and parcel of almost every other issue.
One of the things we can do to address judicial activism is to make sure that our senior leaders that we elect have a worldview consistent with this judicial view that we have, that you shouldn't have activists on the bench.
The person who has the responsibility of nominating and appointing judges should be genuinely and sincerely concerned about American values, things that will uphold the community, things that will affirm life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Justice for everyone, from the womb to the tomb.
This is more than a mistake. This is an unconstitutional, indeed an anti-constitutional act. And courts that violate the Constitution, the very Constitution that they purport to enforce and to honor, when courts do that, we need to speak out against them. Action needs to be taken to rein them in.
The heart of the matter is they're not doing their job. They're doing our job. They're doing the legislative work. And we need to basically take more of an active role in trying to make them answer publicly to the American people for why they're stepping out of their constitutional bounds.
You know, what we have to do is to have the courage to impeach some of these judges. We have to have the courage to override their decisions. We have to have the courage for the legislature to assert its authority as the people who are legislating.
It is really incumbent on every conservative leader and elected leader in the House and in the Senate to bear upon the White House well ahead of the nomination to make it clear what would be an acceptable nominee. And it isn't just a matter of wanting the nominee we want. It is wanting a nominee who has a particular depth in their record, demonstrated ability, and a demonstrated faithfulness to the Constitution and a method of approaching their task.